Hey y'all, I want to give you guys another story time, and this is the second story that I shared in the live that I don't have access to right now. But anyway, I was 19. I was still living at home, technically, but I was at Cal Poly Pomona. So I was living on campus, playing basketball there. But the bus ride, because I didn't have a car, there were no Ubers or anything like that, but you could catch the city bus and go anywhere. And the city bus ride from where I lived to Cal Poly Pomona was a total of about an hour and a half. I used to, I lived 82nd Street off Main Street. So like Main Street was to my house facing this way. This was Main Street, and the next big street forward was Manchester. And then the next street going that way, the major street, was San Pedro. And I used to walk from my house down to San Pedro and catch the city bus to make it was like 2 buses that I would take, and an hour and a half later I'd be back at school. It was not uncommon for a woman or a girl to be sitting on the bus stop waiting for a bus, minding her own business, and a grown man pull up in a car and try to get her to get in his car. And this is what happened to me. He was a nice looking man. I would have put him in his early 40s. He was very caramel colored skin, curly, short hair, curly, wavy, good hair, not overdressed like the guy I mentioned in the other video that we called Chat, that was always dressed nice. He was always dressed like in suits and a hat. Like he was just like overdressed for just driving through the neighborhood, right? But this guy, he drove like a rust-colored, excuse me, he drove a rust-colored Mercedes-Benz, and he was medium, slight, thick build, good-looking guy. He pulled up to the bus stop. Hey, young lady. And I'm just like, hey, like the other guy that wanted me to be his girl when I was 14. I wasn't too much more mature at 19 because I wasn't dealing with grown men anyway. I was still a girl. And he wanted to, just pulled up to try to talk to me or whatever. How you doing? I'm like, hi, And then he offered to give me a ride. I was like, I don't know you. I'm not getting in your car. I don't know you. And he was just like, I ain't gonna do nothing to you. I said, I know you ain't gonna do nothing to me because I'm not getting in your car because I don't know you, right? And so he was like, I can just take you up to the next bus stop and just let you out, just to prove to you that I ain't gonna do nothing to you. I don't know you because I might not make it to the next bus stop. So he respected that boundary. Listen to the language I'm using, because now I understand what was happening. I was being groomed from day one. So he respected that boundary. He drove off. But some kind of way, every time I went to that bus stop every week, he ended up pulling up to me at that bus stop, pulling up to the bus stop to say hi. I still resisted. I still didn't know him. I don't remember if he ever told me his name. He may have told me his name when I told him, I don't know you, because that was common. I don't know you. Oh, my name is so-and-so. Now I know you. Oh, thanks. So he met me up at that bus stop. Some kind of way, every time I went to that bus stop to catch the bus to go back to Cal Poly, he always found me at that bus stop, pulled up, made small talk, offered to give me a ride. I said no. He offered to take me to the next bus stop and drop me off. Y'all, this happened a couple of weeks. He broke me down, and eventually he said, I can just take you up to the next bus stop and let you out. I ain't gonna do nothing to you. Breaking me down, building my trust. The fact that I was giving him the time of day let him know that he could continue to do this and that he was onto something. Eventually, you guys, I got in his car, and guess what this nigga did? He drove me to the very next bus stop and let me out. He did that a couple of times. Building my trust, letting my wall come down. Now I understand. Even though I was 19, I was young, I was still a child. He was grooming me for whatever plans he had for me. And one day, because like I said, I would leave home and he would always catch me on San Pedro at the bus stop. This day, I'm walking down my street from my house, and he pulls up behind me. My mother was outside on the porch, and I guess my mama, what she was doing was watching her baby walk, down the street, praying for me or whatever, or just admiring her child, loving her child, whatever mamas do when they watch their babies walk away. And he pulled up, and this day, we had met so many times at the bus stop. After a few times when he would pull up and say, hey, and I'll be like, hey, hi, it was friendly now. It wasn't like, So this day he pulled up, and I was surprised to see him on my street or whatever. But when he wrote, window down and hey, lady. And I said, hey, and got in the car. My mama saw that Mercedes-Benz pull up to her baby, saw her baby get in that car. And I heard my mama back there on that porch screaming, hey, calling my name. I'm like, she all right. And because he ain't gonna do nothing to me, right? He just taking me to the next bus stop. Took me to the next bus stop, let me off. And then when I came back home, the next few days or week or whatever, there were no cell phones. Mama couldn't call me. What is you doing in this man's car? I couldn't call her, well, I could when I got to school, which was an hour and a half away. So think of the terror in my mother's heart after watching me get in the car with this man and him drive off with me. She didn't know if she would ever see me again. There was no email. There was no text message. There was no pager, right? She had to wait until she saw me again. And then I played it off and I act like she was overreacting because he had not done anything to me. I will tell you this. Again, now I realize this man was grooming me, winning my trust, so that whenever he felt that he could make the next step, he might not have dropped me off at the next bus stop. He might have kept going, and no telling where I would have ended up. I believe 100% that not only did my mother stand on that porch screaming and hollering my name, I believe that my mother cried out to God and prayed for her baby. My mama prayed for me. Do you hear me? Do you know why I know my mama prayed for me? Because I never saw that man again. And not only did I never see that man again, I didn't even realize I hadn't seen that man again until several years later. I never saw him again. My mama prayed that man up out of my life. I never saw him on the bus stop again. He never met me coming down this. I never saw that man again. So I will insert right here. Pray for your children. I don't care. She saw me get in the car with a man she didn't know, and I didn't know. But my mama prayed. You can't tell me Gracie didn't pray, because I never saw that man again. And I never missed him. I never wondered where he was. It was years later when I realized, I never even saw him again after that day. Yeah. So that was another story of how men growing up, men just... Yes, there were men who say that's a child, and they would protect you and treat you like you were one of their daughters. But there were other men, they didn't want you unless you were a child. And this Shannon Sharpe story is just really bringing a lot of those things back into the forefront of my mind, because it was common for dirty old men, nasty old men. That's what we called them. You old nasty thing. Want somebody's 12, 13, 14-year-old daughter, or a 40-something-year-old man who was a full adult the day I was born. So to me, that's too much age gap. But this guy in the Mercedes, he wasn't trying to be my man. He was trying to be my man. So that's just another one of my stories. And I know there are more and more stories, because I already got comments coming on the other video I just did yesterday. And thank God. Thank God. Worse things happen to other girls. Way worse things. Worse things happen to my mother. But I thank God my mama prayed that day. And I pray for my daughters. And God will cover your children, just like he covered you. So thanks for listening to my story time. I got a few more things to say, a few more stories to tell. Not for your enjoyment, I don't guess, but just to share. See y'all later.